What's up guys, Timmygammer here and welcome back to another video. So welcome to the Heroic Mode Revamped review video. So in this video we will be reviewing the new Heroic Mode 21 days. So collect the 8 crystals to craft the Epic Plus version. Normal version and 16 crystals to craft the Plus version armor of the Epic. So that is really awesome. So currently the Star Crystal Fragment drop is at 100%, and that is really amazing. It's super awesome because the other one was like 20% or something, and that sucked. But now it's really amazing. But Heroic Mode is pretty harder right now. It's pretty harder compared to the other time. So here is a little guide. So shout out, thank you to AL Duh and Alex Johnson for this. So here are the tips. So let's start off with Relic Runes. So on Relic Runes, the minions are mainly Earth, but there is also some Fire and Air, but a little Spirit. The boss is Earth, so I suggest that you use on your first night, so Fire or Fire and Earth, and on your second night, you use Fire and Spirit, or just Spirit. So Fire and Spirit is going to be really useful in Relic Runes for the first stage. The second stage is Thief's Cove, so the minions are all water, some air, and a bit spirit, but mainly there are water. So the boss is water and air, so I suggest for your first night, you should use some spirit, or some spirit air or air, so Spectre Shroud, all of that stuff. It's pretty good, so spirit and air, you should be pretty good with that. And for your second night, some air and earth. So using air in this one in the Thief's Cove is going to be pretty good if you have a lot of good air armors. Skeleton Tombs, this is the third stage, so it is mainly spirit and air, but there is also some earth and fire. So the boss and the Skeleton Tomb, it is spirit and air, so I suggest using on your first night some fire and air. So fire, you're gonna be pretty good in this one, and for your second night, use some spirit and fire, or just fire. So mainly for the Skeleton Tomb, some fire is gonna be pretty useful, So here for Flaming Wildwood, most of the minions are fire, but there is also some spirit, earth, and air. And the boss is fire. Pretty much everything in here is fire. So I suggest that you should use some fire as your first night, and on the second night, some fire or some water. Hello, Fallout Shelter. So fire and water. The Cold Rock Cranks. So this one is mainly air. There is also some water and earth. So the boss is air and water, just like in the Thief's Cove. So I suggest using some spirit and earth for your main guy. But your second night, you should use some earth and air. So pretty much earth and spirit in this one. The Fairy Forest. So the minions are mostly spirit, some earth, some water, and a little bit of air. So the boss is spirit, so I suggest to use in this one. For your first night, use some spirit and some spirit water. And for your second night, use some fire and spirit. The Riding Cascade. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing this correctly because I cannot English. So it is mainly water, some air, and some spirit for the minions. The boss is water and spirit. So the suggested elements for this one, since the boss is water spirit, use some air and some air spirit. That is pretty good on your main night. And for your second night, use again some air spirit or some air and water. Guardian's Crossing, this is the 8th stage. So if you want to get the normal version of the Epic Arbor, you only need to do everything until the Guardian's Crossing. So the minions are mainly earth, air, a bit of fire, a bit of water, and a bit of spirit. So pretty much every element ever. So the boss, earth and air, so I suggest using on your first night some spirit and some earth. For your second night, use some spirit and some earth again. So just spirit and earth is gonna be perfect. So Earth Warden, pretty much anything that has spirit and earth like the million times. Sparkling Steps, where you get a million gems right here. So the minions, they are mainly some spirit, then some air, some earth, and some fire. So the boss is mono water, so meaning only water. So this is the first where you might need 3 nights because this one is pretty hard. So first one, some fire and some spirit, or just fire. Second night, I suggest using some spirit, and the third one, spirit and air. Blazing Tides up next, or as I like to call it, the volcano. So the minions are mainly fire, there are some air and some earth. So the boss is fire and spirit. So the suggested element for this, for the first night, it is fire and earth, or only fire. For your second night, the same thing, fire and earth, or only fire. And for your third night, fire and water. Calabrero Desert. So the minions are mainly fire, some earth, air, and water. So pretty much everything except some spirits. So the boss is fire and earth. So the suggested element is earth for your first night, your second night some water and earth, and your third night water and water earth. The stunking correct, so it is mainly water, some fire, some air, some earth, and some spirit for the minions. The boss is earth and water. So the element suggested for your night is, well, anything pretty strong, anything mono for your first one except fire, because fire is not gonna be good. For your second night, something, any armor, double elements, but not fire, so that's not gonna be good. But for your third night, it is suggested to use some spirit and water or spirit and earth. Misty Marsh, so the minions are mainly earth, water, some air, and some spirit, so pretty much anything except the fire. So boss is earth and spirit. So the suggested element on your first night, you should use some spirit. On your second night, some spirit and water or spirit and earth, what you guys want. And for your third night, the same thing as the second night, so spirit and water or spirit and earth. The Zephyr Plateau, so the minions are mainly water, air, some spirit and some earth, and the boss is mono earth. So the suggested element for this one is 1. For your first night, some spirit. For your second night, air and spirit or spirit and earth. And for your third night, spirit, earth, or spirit and air. So pretty much a lot of spirit stuff. The second last one, the Haunted Citadel. So the minions are mainly spirit, some water, air, fire, and earth, but mainly spirit again. So the boss is spirit. So for your first night, I suggest using some fire. For your second night, again, maybe some fire. I'm not too sure for that one, but I think fire. For your third one, fire or fire spirit, fire water, and fire air, just not fire and earth. Okay, so for the Kingdom of Darkness, here is on the screen a little image. So as you see, here is all the bosses. There is a lot of bosses, I think 10 stages or so, so that is really awesome. So as you see, here the first one is spirit and earth, so I suggest using a fire one for your first night, then again a fire one, because third one, again a fire one because of the spirit. So for your first night, I suggest using a spirit one. What am I saying? A fire one. It's really going to be useful for the first 3 ones. Then, as you see, if you go down, it is fire and water for the 4th battle. So I suggest maybe using some water. Yes, some water are going to be very useful. Some water for your second night. Because as you see, the 5th one is unicorn. So again, water is going to be pretty useful for 4 and 5. Then, for your third night, I suggest using maybe some earth. Yes, some earth would be pretty useful for this one. Number 6, because for number 7, it is mono fire. So if you use water, then that's not good. So earth is amazeballs. And then for your last one, I suggest using again a mono fire. That is another friend. So for this one, you're gonna be needing your 3 guys and your 2 friends. So for the last one, fire and fire. For basically the 3 last ones, fire is gonna be pretty useful. So yeah guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I was pretty mixing up, maybe your mind is just too weird, too much information and stuff. Me too, my mind just exploded. So yeah guys, so I hope you guys this was useful for you. This will be useful for this heroic mode in August, but also useful for heroic mode in the future, for the revamped heroic mode. So yeah guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Choose your player.
Mario!